Man.
Wonderful. Let's do that. Hey guys, welcome back to uh, our next video. I have a wonderful gentleman here, Nick. We've connected in our mastermind $1 million sellers. He is such a valuable person there. Like just giving of himself, um, always adding value, always sharing offers. And I thought he'd be a perfect guest to have on. Nick, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Doing great. I got a good little surf in this morning. Weather is beautiful here in Virginia Beach, so I'm happy, man. Just getting into the office and getting some work done.
Wonderful. Thank you for taking the time. I know you must be busy, even though with the Tuesday surf, man, you
Yeah.
can't. How
Trying
did
to be
you?
less busy these days, man. Like start taking stuff off my plate and just enjoying life a little more. I've got three great kids and a beautiful wife at home, so trying to spend more time with them.
Yeah, less is more
Yeah.
oftentimes. So I like that. I like that. Maybe tell us a little background about you, who you are, how you got into Amazon, anything that would you would like to paint a picture for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll do my best to wrap it up in a nice, concise manner. But I like to think that my journey into e-commerce kind of started as a young child, just kind of being unhappy with the situation being painted for children as a future adult, right? Like I didn't really want to go to college, get a job, retire when I'm old, and hopefully have the health and energy to have a few good years. It sounded pretty sad then, and it still sounds pretty sad right now. So that led to a lot of issues as a child. My parents split up when I was pretty young, and I didn't have much direction in life. So I made friends with people that I thought were cool and showed interest in me. And, that led to a lot of like drugs and alcohol and partying and situations that just got me deeper and deeper into that lifestyle. Ended up being incarcerated a few times. And by the time I was 19, I had actually had enough. Like the drugs and alcohol kept getting me in trouble. And I never really thought of myself as a bad person. But, here I was in this situation, not happy with it. So at 19, I cleaned myself up, spent some time in Winchester, Virginia, working on like a farm, and got really into exercise and fitness. And I was on a organic community supported agriculture, then like raising chickens and vegetables. And we made biodiesel as well. That was pretty cool.
Uh,
Um, and I came back home to Virginia Beach after that, and came back home to I had a son at that point in my life. That was like 2004, I think it was. No, that's not right. 2004 was when when I like kind of started straightening myself out a little bit. My son was born in 2012, is when he was born. So I had actually taken a job at that point for the sanitation district. After cleaning myself up, I got a good job by being honest with someone that I knew, asking for some help, and they hooked me up with a job. And that job just didn't work out for me. And it was shift work, and I was
surprise.
working at night. Yeah, it just didn't work out well. And I had to quit because I fell asleep at the wheel 3 times. So I quit the third time and started a landscaping business with a friend. And that went terribly wrong. I lost like 20 grand. And then that's how I got into e-commerce. Is I came across this thing on selling on eBay, and I had no time. I had time to like just list, and like 2 months in, it just started taking off. And then I bought some training on how to sell on Amazon, and it was merchant fulfilled was like the method back then that I was using. So it took about 90 days to take off. And I remember my 90th day, the phone, like the cha-ching, it was like ch-ch-ch-ch-ch-ch. It couldn't even get it out because I had gotten in the buy box. It couldn't even finish a ching. And it just took off, man. And that was like 2015. And I just went all in, man, because I was like, that felt like the answer to kind of what I was always looking for as a child, is like a way to live life on my own terms, make enough money to support that life, hopefully have a family one day. So I really just went pretty hard on that, and just scaled it ever since then. As you know, there's so many different ways to sell on Amazon. So it evolved for me over time, from like arbitrage to wholesale, doing some brand management, doing some consulting, starting some private labels, and just kind of finding my position, in this world of e-commerce, which I, feel pretty good about where I'm at now.
Man, that's amazing. And it seems like a lot of people, obviously everyone's journey is different and personal, but a lot of people have to go through those hated moments of working for someone else or even starting your own business, but knowing that's not you.
Right.
Like from landscaping to e-commerce sounds like a just 180. Like do you remember that one thing that you saw where you're like, okay, online, selling e-commerce, where you decided to test it? Or was it kind of like, okay, I've heard of this thing, I'm just gonna try it out?
So it's one of those things where you look back and you're like, man, that terrible thing that happened was such a blessing, right? Like it's definitely that, because the reason why I looked into it is because I couldn't get a job. Because of my past, I had like a DUI on my record, and I couldn't get a job because I would go to the interviews and I would talk to people. Nick, we love you. We love your energy. We know you're a good fit for this role. We're going to hire you anyways. Like, I was always honest about my situation. I to this day, I feel it's very important to be honest, right? Like, you want people in your life that you can be honest with, not people that you feel like you have to lie to and keep secrets. So I would go to these situations multiple times, and it would come to this point of hiring. And, I didn't have a license at the time. I didn't have a vehicle at the time, and I couldn't change those things in that moment. So I just kept getting told no. I couldn't get a job. And then a friend of mine that I grew up with was like, man, I'm doing this thing on eBay, and it's working out really well. It's all I'm doing now. And I was like, man, I'm going to give that a shot. And I don't think I would have ever given it a shot if I wasn't kind of desperate. Like, I needed something to work. I needed to try anything. So I was very open to it in that moment. And I had a friend. That's the other piece of the puzzle there, is a friend, a trusted individual, had suggested that to me. So I just gave it, all the energy I had at the moment. And I was very fortunate to have my, father in my life, who was always there for me, like when I needed some assistance, when things really got bad. At that point, I had just lost $20,000. I couldn't get a job. I was like 24 at the time, I think. And he let me move in with him, so I was able to stay there. I had food to eat. I had somewhere for my son to come and hang out with me. But I was able to get on my computer and list all these listings on eBay, and a lot of things lined up, including those bad things that happened in my past, to help make this happen, to go from landscaping to e-commerce, like you had mentioned.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I'm, again, looking back, it must have sucked back then, but looking back, that might have been the greatest blessing. And it's often the case with everyone. I know I have my fair share of those stories. Everyone does.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't be here. So
right.
That's what's the life or the mission of your life and your companies now? Like, what if there was an overarching mission, purpose, what would that be?
Yeah, if you would have asked me this recently, I would have probably said something that like was really relevant to the business. But one thing I've realized this year is the mission of the businesses has always been to support the life that I want for me and my family. And that kind of got lost. I got lost at one point, crossing $1 million in revenue, getting excited about big numbers and, profits and money and working more. to keep chasing that feeling of selling a lot of products or whatever it is. I got lost in that, and you know, some things suffered. You know, my relationships with my friends suffered. My relationships with my kids weren't exactly as I wanted it. My relationship with my wife wasn't exactly what I wanted. So, you know, I really made some changes the beginning of this year, actually, where it's like, hey, I've got, you know, 3 kids, I've got 1 more on the way, and, you know, my daughter, Luciana, like, man, she's only going to be 3 for the summer one time. You know, the next summer she's going to be 4, and she's going to be different, you know, and just like really realizing how special those moments with my children are, and how special the moments with my wife are, and how special the moments with myself are too, right? Like, you know, taking surf trips is something I love to do. So like making time for those things that really help me and the relationships I have become better. Like that's definitely the mission for my businesses right now, is supporting that.
I like that. I like that a lot. Like that's why I don't ask just what's the mission of the company. It's the life.
Yeah.
Again, so many times I myself, you want to take on the extra hours, do this and keep working, but it's like, for what am I doing
Right.
this? I think if, as long as we're conscious of that, everyone's is going to be different.
Yes.
Some people might like the grind, they might like the money, but what friends, kids, wife, self, like that covers a lot of the essential non, you know, questionable things. So I really like that. I know what luxury and freedom e-commerce has provided for you, but I'm curious, kind of, if you're looking forward the next 5 years, next 10 years, knowing what's happening in the Amazon space, how it's a little constricted, things are kind of tightening, slowing down, question marks. What is something that you're looking forward to in the next coming years, specifically within e-commerce? Maybe it's something else, but what's kind of the next 5 to 10 years for you, and what are you seeing?
Yeah, you know, I really look forward to just continuing to like network with other e-commerce entrepreneurs, digital entrepreneurs. Like there's really a great community of people in this online world, where you can connect with people you wouldn't have the opportunity to otherwise, right? Like, you know, in MDS, there's so many great people that you meet, you connect with right away, and you're having conversations right away that would take like maybe even a year to develop with someone, you know, where you're just really able to take that friendship to the next level quickly because a lot of people are so similar. So I really love that aspect. I look forward to getting to know more and more people. I look forward to, of course, like selling a business one day, and like being able to provide for my kids and give them the opportunity that I did not have, which is to like figure out how to enjoy life at an earlier age, you know, and be able to do the things you love when you're 18 instead of, you know, 48 or whatever it is that they tell you these days. Like I want my kids to have that confidence and control of their life, and I think money is a tool that allows that to happen. So whatever it is that they decide that they want to do, what their passion is in those moments, I want to be able to support them to be able to chase those dreams and learn those lessons and accomplish what it is that they have in mind for themselves. That's a big one. And just continue to enjoy life on my own terms as well, with me and my wife and my family. And so I think selling a business can certainly help with that. So it's definitely something we're looking at.
I like that, and I like how, again, the underlying mission is there when you're thinking ahead and planning. I'm sure every day there's something that comes up that requires your attention in the business. It's critical, putting out a fire, employees, whatever. But that underlying mission of either selling, and I wanted to ask a follow up on this, either selling a business, would you consider growing the business and bringing in kids, wife to help that, or maybe it's like, hey, I'm setting this up for you so that you can run it one day. Like, how are you? I guess my follow up was, for the next 12 months or 12 to 24 months, what's kind of the top goal for the business, and then how would you intertwine that with the mission, kids, wife?
Yeah, right. Like I hope that the kids will want to be involved. I just try not to I'm not going to force them to be
Push it.
involved.
Yeah.
I'm not going to push it. Like, I'm going to give them the opportunity. The company I do like brand management and consulting under is Roman's Tide. My oldest son is Roman, so like I named it after him, Tide from surfing. So I kind of like baked, family and my personal passion like into the name of the business there. So I've always had some hopes that they will work in the business. Just don't have like a hard set expectation on it, and definitely not forcing it on them either. So like with that, like some things that we focus on for the business and goals is like automating more stuff, because that serves the purpose of allowing me to do the things I want to do and free up time and still kind of like, I feel like the automation stuff, it's the closest we can get to like replicating ourselves and like getting that same quality of work that we want, that we would expect people to do when we hire someone else. Or at first when we hire someone else. I feel like we all go through that phase where we get disappointed because we have that unrealistic expectation of people. It's going to be like just like us doing this other role if we created a duplicate version of ourselves and put them in that position, and it just usually doesn't work out that way. So I feel like automation gives us that opportunity. So that's a big focus in my business right now. And I took on a great role with MDS, and that definitely is like, as far as me and what I'm doing at work, like that's most of what I'm doing, is helping them grow the side of their partnerships business, and I really do love that. I also get to do the podcast and host the podcast as well. I love doing that. So they've really given me opportunities where I can do different things, where it might seem like, oh man, Nick is like, he's doing a whole lot for MDS or something, but really they've allowed me to be in these positions where I can really just be myself in these different things, and it's somewhat simple for me to just jump from being the partnerships guy to, okay, I got to do a podcast now. So I really love that, and I get to go to great events and meet great people. So it's been a great opportunity as well.
Yeah, and I have to say, the way that has been set up, I don't know who voted on that, what the decision process was, but they were spot on. It is you, and you're doing it wonderfully. So again, thank you for that.
Thank you.
I would obviously, automation is big. I know we have communities within MDS, like sub communities that focus just on automation. Like, and I myself too, I'm juggling so many things. It's hard to, I didn't even know about the automation group unless if it was another meeting we had with our squads.
Okay.
And someone mentioned something about, oh, we're automating reports in our automation subgroup. I'm like, I didn't even know we had that thing. So it's great to see like sub communities forming, and like you said, you reach out to someone that has made a good post, a comment, and it's automatically, you can have that interaction and give and take. I would love to, if there's more of those things, I would love to get connected myself and then offer value on some things that I'm automating for the business that I haven't had the opportunity to share yet. So maybe off chat, I would love to pick that up and
absolutely.
maybe pick your brain and then show some ways that we're automating our email marketing specifically.
Awesome.
Wonderful. And we have like 10 minutes. I just got the notification from Zoom. How can people connect with you? And maybe if there was one superpower that you can help, try to put yourself into that person's shoes that just starting on Amazon. Maybe they're thinking, I don't know if this is going to work or whatever. How can they connect with you? And then what's kind of that superpower that you can show to them or embark on them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the best way to get a hold of me is if you're really trying to have a conversation is like Instagram or Facebook. I'll see those communications come in pretty quickly. So, Facebook is Nick Shucet, Shucet. And then my Instagram is Shuceti. It's just my last name with 2 E's at the end. So yeah, shoot me a message. Let's chat. Always happy to talk business or, about the struggle or, overcoming things like I mentioned earlier. Always happy to chat about that stuff and help out. I think one superpower like that comes into mind right now, is, in the phrase that sticks out is do it anyways. Like no matter what you're going through, you're feeling, you're doubting, you're scared, you're nervous. Like that's fine. That's all normal. Like we're all designed to feel those feelings, to think those thoughts, but just do it anyways. Don't let it stop you. Don't try and fight it. Don't resist your feelings, right? Like feelings are normal. I didn't know that for a long time. Nobody taught me that. They just tell you don't be angry. Oh, don't be sad. Well, none of that didn't really make sense back then when I was younger, right? So instead of fixing those things, I would just try to avoid them. I would try to never be sad, never be angry, never be nervous. Those things are totally normal, and you can turn those into your superpower, right? Like when you're feeling those things, in my opinion, now it tells me that I'm close to figuring something out. I'm close to something great. I'm close to some type of change. Or I'm about to do something really cool, like go down a roller coaster or something like that, right? So these feelings have become cues to me that kind of provide insights to where I'm going, to the path that I'm on. And if I'm scared, I just do it anyways.
I love that. I really like that. Man, that's amazing. I wish, and I know down the line we'll talk some more, but I wish
Yeah.
really go deep into this, because
Yeah.
outside of, you can give the best tip and the exact way of doing such and such. Those are going to change by the month, by 3 months, by the quarter, by the year. This doesn't change. This is an
Right.
everyday thing. I feel fear. I feel lack. I feel whatever, happiness every day, every 30 minutes. So
Yeah.
I would really love to unpack that. Maybe down the line, we'll do some more of this, maybe on the podcast. I don't know. But
Yeah, absolutely.
thank you. Thank you very much. I think this is very insightful, super succinct. I like how from your darkness, you're shining the brightest light. So keep it up, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Guys, Nick, this is Nick Shucet. I'm going to leave his information below. I'll leave the link to the podcast as well. Highly, highly recommend checking that out. If you are a 7-figure seller plus, also reach out to him. If you want a community that you could have access to, I think we're over 500 people now. Yeah, you could always reach out to me for any questions, clarifications as well. I'm always down to help. So with that said, I'll chat with you guys later. Have the best.